This week on C Plus News Time, Walton Goggins is going to be keeping it real on Showtime. Megyn Kelly is getting a show? What? And Netflix is going to be half original very, very soon. The only thing about me that's original is my hard-hitting jokes. Now watch as I read off a list of 7 words that you can't say on television. But before that, check out this. C Plus News Time.
It's C Plus News Time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
I'm not one to speak of my escapades with the ladies, but I talked to this girl and let's just say I'm being tried for harassment. Welcome back to C Plus News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the comedy news that you didn't know about for the week of September 19th, 2016. Before we get started, Kumail Nanjiani, Jonah Ray, and Emily V. Gordon announced that they decided to end the weekly stand-up showcase, The Meltdown. After 6 years of the live show and 3 years on Comedy Central, the show is setting the sun on October 13th. In a blog post, they thanked the hundreds of comedians that performed, directors, editors, and everyone else involved. Good night, Meltdown, you sweet, sweet soul. Also in the news is Iliza Schlesinger is getting a late-night show on ABC Freeform, and Comedy Central announced this fall's new comedy specials. Head to cpluscomedy.com for that stuff, but now, this. First up, Showtime is getting a dose of Walton Goggins. The vice principal star is going to be in Keeping It Real, where he'll play a movie star that finds himself involved in international incidents. Behind the scenes of the show should prove to be fruitful because Nat Faxon and Jim Rash are set to direct. And The Big Short co-writer Charles Randolph created and is also writing the series. Next up, for some reason, some ungodly reason, Fox News host Megyn Kelly is creating a comedy show. But thank the stars, it's only on Verizon's Go 90 thing. They've ordered 6 22-minute episodes of Embeds, which is a political comedy following young reporters on the campaign trail. Go 90 has a lofty goal of putting out an episode by November 8th, or the day that America goes to shit. At the time of this recording, that's less than 6 weeks away, and they don't even have a cast yet. And finally, Netflix announced that it will fill half of its catalog with its own shows. This comes from the company's CFO, David Wells. The ambition can be seen as more of a reality as, by the end of 2016, there will be over 600 hours of originals on the service. 600 hours of originals! Just last year in 2015, they had 450 hours. This all sounds big and overwhelming, but let's break down what constitutes an original. Netflix is like any network in that it makes its own shows. And yes, it is a network. They buy and sell and create and do exclusivity just like NBC, Comedy Central, and HBO and the rest of them. Their original programming, think Orange is the New Black and Daredevil, is built from the ground up as their show. They can buy a show or order one as series that is yet to be made. Someone can shop their unmade show or pilot to the service and then sell it. Netflix throws their name over it and provides the money, and boom, you have an original. Another way the service gets away with its own authentic programming is by acquiring a show. The Killing lived a seesaw life on AMC, but for some reason, maybe to test out the future, Netflix allowed the show to live on its service for one more season. Granted, they were actually in bed with the deal long before the first time AMC brought back the show. They made a deal with Fox Television Studios to be the only company to show the 3rd season and then lost it. In this case, they just bought the show. Or, for another example, see Arrested Development. Co-producing is Netflix working in tandem with another company. This is where shows from like DreamWorks Animation come in. The once famed animated movie company is now in cahoots with the streamer to create over 300 hours of video for the service. This is where shows like Turbo Fast, Dragons Race the Edge, and Voltron started. They expanded that deal just this year at the top of the year to encompass over 1,600 episodes of shows. An interesting aspect of their current 50% 100% goal is that Netflix is supposedly 1/3 of the way there. But Wells, in an interview with Variety, did say that the company isn't expecting a home run every time, adding in the notion, quote, "We can also live with singles, doubles, and triples, especially commensurate with their cost." But the way everyone talks about their shows, both good and bad, one would assume that they're the greatest network ever. Wells' sentiment echoes that of a regular executive. While they'd like to have the best shows ever, there are always going to be some clunkers. What's striking about Netflix is how they license shows. Before, they used to just grab everything, which is why you saw similar offerings on other services like Hulu and Crackle. Over the past few years, though, Netflix has been wanting the shows to themselves, or passing on deals entirely because they can't get them to themselves. This is how bad horror movies, indie comedies, and shows that you probably already own on Blu-ray and DVD end up on the service. Netflix has always been both a boon and a hindrance for TV. While they do put out some quality stuff, there's always two more shows that don't stand the test of time. DreamWorks' home cartoon series is bright and loud, but lacking anything of substance. And yes, kids shows can have substance. Look laterally to The Dragon Show and later episodes of Turbo. But then there are true gems like Master of None, where shows and movies can fall into the middle camp of okay, like The Get Down and Sense8, both of which had mixed reviews. Ratings also play a factor. Audiences and networks are, to put it bluntly, not too bright when it comes to prescribing value a show that they like. Either they give 5 stars or 1, but the star thing is too contrived. It has the same effect of your friends saying a piece of entertainment is good or bad. I'm not going to trust the opinion of the same person that thinks Dance Moms is valuable entertainment, nor am I going to trust someone who only watches good shows, like Breaking Bad or The Office, but only until Michael left because that's really when the real ending of the show is. Opinions of others shouldn't be taken into account with things like this. But while I hate ratings, it's very important that we have true critics value a form of media. I'll support a GameSpot or AV Club rating, but Joe Regularman's 5-star rating of The Ridiculous 6 means nothing to me. Anyways, Netflix's enthusiasm to have half of its offerings be its own creations is wonderful, but they'll still be relying on licensing other network shows for some time. Eventually, I can see a world where Netflix is 99% originals and other services like Hulu have the reruns of other networks. Stream to your heart's content, viewers. And that's all the news I have for you for this week on C Plus News Time. Why don't you subscribe and check out one of our other videos? Of course, you can always head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where we got the latest news, reviews, features, interviews, and other good comedy bits that only I can provide you with. You can follow us on Twitter at cpluscomedy, follow me on Twitter at ChadBlackWhite, like us on Facebook, tumble with us on Tumblr, and don't forget to choose your favorite streaming network and then watch all the shows on there and then tell me about it. I don't care. Goodbye.